And welcome to the We Like Sportz Podcast. Here, I'm Riggs, alongside with Austin, Payton, and Keith. Also, Dave Hero in the mix board here at Redline Radio LLC for the We Like Sportz Podcast. Fuck the coronavirus. So,
dude, can we just talk about the fact that, like, Austin, this is his second straight week, and by now you should know his goddamn name.
Hey, he was calling him Mike off the air.
I was calling him Mike.
He was like, Mike.
I was like, Mike. I felt like
we all
Finding
thought you were
Nemo.
talking
Mike.
We all thought you were talking about microphones and shit. It was really weird.
I didn't want to go in there and be like, this is Riggs, Mike, and who the fuck is Mike?
Why do you have your phone on live?
I don't know.
If you're going to hold it, I'd hold it up against your water bottle so you can have...
Son of a bitch. Well, you know what I did on the way in here.
What did you do, Riggs? Pee on your forehead?
What did you do all day today?
Damn, that's good. Some California hospitality.
Is that weed?
Yeah, that's marijuana.
California hospitality?
Yes.
All right.
I booked my 2K20 Raw show, washed dishes, fed the cat.
What's your cat's name?
Her name is .com.
.com?
You were definitely high.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Got it from a show called 30 Rock with Alec Baldwin and Tina Fey, because that was Tracy Morgan's bodyguard's name, was .com. And she was just there, and she knows her name and everything. She's a diabetic, and she's expensive, and I love her. But
Riggs,
yes.
I said that like when we were coming in because you were going into the fact that you were gonna say that like what you did today.
I was in the process of doing that. Then he asked me what was my cat's name.
All right, go on.
What the fuck did I do after all that? Oh, fed the cat. After I fed the cat, I watched a show called Mom. Scraped the bowl. I went outside.
The cat bowl or the marijuana bowl?
Marijuana bowl.
Okay.
Went on the front porch like 5 or 6 times. Spoke to my roommate's nephew. Told him to suck it with the crotch chops. He's of age, so it's not like I'm telling a minor kid like, suck it.
Oh my god.
No, yeah, he's of age, yeah. I'm not gonna tell some minor to suck it. That's fucked up. But
Right, because this whole story is fucked up.
well, my day is fucked up.
He said, I told my roommate's nephew to suck it with the motion and everything.
Yeah, I didn't want to be like, I told him to suck it. And like, whoa.
So stand up. You're on camera. Stand up. What did you tell him?
No. I don't want piss on my head.
No, we're not gonna do that. I
Sit
stood
back
up.
down.
I stood up. Well, I stood up. I'm
Man,
standing
he's
up
about
now.
to reach you with his fucking 10-foot pole.
I walked outside. I was in my PJs, and he was in the garage working on his car. And I like looked out, and he looked at me, and he was like, "What's up?" And he's playing Logic, and I was just like, "What's up?" And then we just started talking.
And yesterday, what'd you do?
Oh, come on, dude.
Oh, that hailstorm.
That wasn't how the window was broken.
No, that's another. That's yeah.
So you broke a window at your house?
That's when people do when you don't work for a month.
You break windows?
So
how'd you break your window? People want to know. They're asking.
I've been wad that bitch.
When you say Ben Wadded, you have to use regular language. So what did you do?
He killed it.
Did you headbutt it?
Oh damn! No, fuck no. Just how like kind of like Goldberg did with the limo. But it wasn't a limo. It was.
So why would you call that Ben Wadded?
I'm on a Ben Watt kick. I wasn't thinking about it.
Holy shit, dude.
Yeah, holy shit is that. But anyway, let's get into some sports, and we'll get back to my crazy fucking lifestyle later on. Words are hard for Peyton. You should have seen him over the WrestleMania weekend.
Drunk
as a skunk.
I didn't get drunk. I didn't do anything.
Oh, well, God damn. I just don't know where to go from here. I mean, Riggs is just like the key entertainment factor of this podcast. Podcast.
I like it.
He just had his aha moment.
Podcast.
But like, he's like the key factor here because like he talks about like getting pee on his forehead the last time Keith was here. Austin didn't even hear about that story.
Keep it real. I have to keep it real.
I don't think Austin's mic's on.
No, I can hear him.
I can't hear him.
Hello?
There we go.
You go.
Oh, finally.
Oh,
Wow.
Reverb.
Yeah, and that was turned up a little too high, I think.
But anyways, Riggs or Keith, one of the two, refresh Austin's memory since he wasn't around about
All right,
Rick's
so
getting pee on his forehead.
this is what happens.
You got to take him through the whole story too, Keith.
It's my second day on here, and I'm trying to get to know everybody. I'm trying to make sure that I'm not, overstepping or stepping on anybody's toes. And this dude's talking about how he went to. He doesn't even remember where it was. He thinks it was
wrestling.
He thinks it was wrestling something, but he had to pee. And evidently he shakes it like, he's a drummer for Blink 182 or something.
All the small things, baby.
Right? And he starts
Travis
slamming
Barker
it.
that
I mean,
shit.
just violently beating his meat like it owes him money. And in the process of doing that, he's flinging piss everywhere. And evidently it landed on his forehead like it was raining.
I don't know if it was just piss, but it was pee.
Were you giving it the old
What
helicopter
do you
or
mean
something?
just piss? What else? He said? Dude, he did. It was bad. It sounded like a bad P.D. Pablo
and then
song.
I think I was at Unforgiven.
It was Unforgiven.
Something was going on because I had really good seats where it was like camera view, and then you get out the concourse, you make that right or that left. There's your bathrooms. So I had good seats, and those are like one of my good seats that I've had. But somebody was coming out, no pun intended, and I shook it a little too hard.
We're talking about piss, not cum. What the fuck?
My penis, because
You got to stop saying you shook it a little too hard. Someone who gets piss on their forehead does not shake it a little too hard.
No
That's
white
a lot
person
too
does
hard.
that.
I think I'm the only person that does that.
Yes.
I guess, dude.
Oh, shit.
It's crazy.
So, I mean, I guess it's a sports podcast, so we'll try to end up slowly merging our way back in here.
Slowly.
Bitch,
But,
Carol Baskin.
Fuck, I want my mic.
What did Carol Baskin do to your mic?
No,
Shook it too hard.
if she does something to my cat, I'm gonna get that bitch.
Well, she does like cats.
I would
like to
solve the puzzle.
We're talking about Tiger King here. But, anyways, before we get things started and end up actually talking sports, and we're going to end up jumping into the NBA, social media-wise, make sure to follow us on there. Twitter is at We Like Sportz PC, as long as the Instagram is Riggs and I are wearing our old T-shirts. We do have new ones with Keith and Austin's face on it. Don't
want
worry,
one.
guys.
I want one.
I think by far this
You'll get
logo
one.
will kill it. And also, I think, Keith, I could get your input on the spot right now.
Sure.
Austin mentioned that maybe we have a Mount Rushmore of us four.
I like it. Dude, yeah.
I
Those
don't
little
even
bobblehead,
know what it looks
figures
like.
coming off of us.
You don't know what Mount Rushmore?
No, I'm talking about the logo of the fucking shirt.
If it's a Mount Rushmore, then it's the logo of the shirt.
So it is Mount Rushmore.
We could just do like Mount Rushmore and then have like
It'd be
little
the same
dangling
thing with our
bodies hanging.
faces.
Right, because
the
I
bobbleheads.
YouTube Mount Rushmore, like people flying over it, and I like look at it. I'm like, holy shit, like that was made by man.
What a weird thing to do.
Oh, you don't want to know my internet history.
Do you have like one of those
Pornhub.
Oculuses that you put on your head? Like, those virtual
The
reality
VRs?
things? You get super stoned and just go to like weird places and like take virtual tours of places?
that? Would you call that? Would you call that was I call getting high?
That's what I
with
call a Wednesday evening.
or fucking Wednesday night. It's called getting high. Putting my cat on my bed. I go on YouTube and I say MTV commercials 1998, and I just watch them and their quality on my stomach, just like this, just fucking chilling.
How can you lay on your stomach? I've tried that before, and judging by your pee range, I don't think you could lay on
You
your
can't
stomach.
lay on your stomach. What are you, hovering 2 inches above the floor? What the hell you mean you sit?
No, I don't know how I do it either. That's weird. I don't just like belly flop on my bed. That would hurt.
Yeah, you did.
You guys remember when planking was a thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Riggs didn't call it planking. It was dick ups.
Dick ups. Wasn't planking. It was just him laying down.
Oh, jeez.
Oh,
And 5 and 6.
But anyways, going back to the social media, Instagram and Twitter is at We Like Sportz PC. Our Facebook page is We Like Sportz Podcast. We also have a Facebook group as well, which is the We Like Sportz Podcast. It's also in group form too. It's shared on said page. We have a YouTube channel now as well. We're trying to up that so you could see the restream of this stream on Facebook on YouTube at We Like Sportz Podcast on YouTube. Trying to think of other things. Blanking. I think that's it actually for now. I think I hit every single version of social media.
Well, let's get the ball rolling then. Shit.
All right.
I don't know. I'm just trying to figure out.
That's it. Actually, subscribe to our YouTube page. That's what I wanted to say. See, I was getting there, but you said, let's get going then. Shit. That was an exact quote coming from you. But, all right, take it easy, Rob Van Dam.
Oh.
So, subscribe to our YouTube page. When we end up having new merch, we're going to do this. Let's just have the fact that we have new people coming into the podcast world. Subscribe to our YouTube page. Like I mentioned, we're getting new T-shirts. We're getting a new logo. If you end up having the opportunity to subscribe, every one of the subscribers, why don't we give away a new free T-shirt? How
I
about
like
that?
it.
I like that idea.
Okay.
So
good idea.
Love,
make
you
sure to
get love.
subscribe. Exactly. You show Riggs love, he gives you love.
Well, not
Right.
just Riggs. I'm a team player. I'm not selfish.
You
So
can
I
have
just
it. You can have it.
You could have all the love
You
you,
can have
want,
all the love you want, man.
baby.
Mm.
That took a weird turn.
Look at that.
yeah. I got nothing.
All right, good. But yeah, definitely if you subscribe, we'll end up having a free T-shirt giveaway as well. And to all of our fans out there that end up having a previous T-shirt, I apologize. Not like I knew that the one guy on the shirt was leaving the show, but anyways, whatever.
How long did he last for?
What, like 2 episodes?
One episode.
Here or
One
in
ep-
general? In general, he lasted like a few episodes, but they were also done at his house, so that explains why.
Can we call those pilot episodes? The ones that we didn't
Pilot
film
episodes.
live?
We could call them you know how in wrestling the shows that aren't televised or
Dark
house
matches.
shows?
Oh, house shows.
So we'll call those house shows since they're specifically house shows.
Okay.
Shut the fuck up. I get it.
Shit. But yeah, he lasted one show here, but show will go on. The big show will go on.
That's right. Bigger, better. I
So
mean, come on.
yeah, exactly. And we're all talking about dicks.
That's
We
right.
really need to stop about that. So anyways, as we go into the NBA here, so Adam Silver ended up saying that the NBA season is up in the air until at least May 1st. And then from there, we'll end up seeing what's going on. If there is an NBA season, there's a chance that they said that the playoffs will be played in Las Vegas.
Wow.
What are you guys' thoughts on this? Do you think the NBA season's pretty much done and over with for now, or is it just kind of wait and see and actually listen, or do you actually think in your gut that the season's over with?
I'm pretty sure it's over with.
Yeah, they're talking about not even getting baseball started until May just to train.
Right.
I mean, that's already 2 weeks after the NBA season usually ends. So
Exactly.
Yeah, I would say that it's damn near over too, but at the same time, it's like, what would the playoff bracket look like if they were to, do it right now?
and would they
Like,
even do a full playoff? I mean, would it just be like 4 teams from the East, 4
Exactly.
teams from the West, and
That's
maybe,
exactly what they're talking
maybe a
about.
best of 3
They're
or
talking-
something like that?
That's exactly what they're talking
Really?
about. The 4, it'd be 8 teams, 4 from the East, 4 from the West. Best of 3 series, or best of 5 for the first round, best of 7 for the second round,
Wow.
and for the championship as well.
Wow.
Man,
And then they're
Wow.
talking about playing all the baseball games in Arizona.
Yeah, I've seen
Right.
that today.
That's
Yeah, they're
bullshit.
talking about
All of
that.
them?
yeah, if they play all of them there, I'm going to be pissed. Just saying.
Well, eventually this has to break. I mean, it's already starting to peak or whatever that guy's
Yeah.
saying.
Getting
So,
there,
I mean,
yeah.
we're, yeah,
whatever
so-
that guy says.
Whatever that, I don't know. I don't like him, but I mean, if you're looking at it from, is the NBA season over? Yeah, I mean, it was over the second they canceled it. I mean, they canceled it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We didn't. Listen, you have people on like 2 different sides going, listen, pack me into a stadium, I'll watch it. And then you got the other people putting themselves in like bubble wrap and breathing through fish tank cleaner because they're stupid. So it's like,
Those
what
are
side
called
you
masks,
on?
though, Keith.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot. Use the mask. Yeah, everybody's like, I was told you going out to I went fishing yesterday. Listen to this. I went fishing.
I
yesterday.
saw on Facebook.
Dude, I was so pissed off. I didn't take pictures. There was this guy, and whatever he did worked. He had himself in a hospital gown, like full-fledged hospital gown.
He fucking escaped the mental hospital.
That's what we thought. I'm not going by this guy. So obviously he did the 6. It worked for him. No one went near him because we're like, what the hell's wrong with this guy? But he's in a
He was
hospital
catching
mask.
all the fish, wasn't he?
I was kind of pissed, yeah. I didn't catch anything, and the crazy guy that didn't want anybody by him is reeling him in all the time. But, like, those are the people that's what we have now. And it's like,
Yeah.
listen, literally half of the world wants everything to go back to normal. We need sports to do that. It's just how it is. We're in dark-ass times, and we're sitting here trying to figure out.
Next to Riggs.
Trying to figure out how to do this, and we need something to root for, man. We can't. What are we gonna? We all sit around our tables and what? We're gonna start rooting to see how long DeWine goes for the night. I mean, come
Well,
on.
to be fair, Tyler ended up saying that we could have competitive pee-flinging.
There you go.
The only thing I've been rooting for lately is the clock because I want dinner time.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
That's about it.
I'm thinking about dinner right now. I'm like, yeah, I know. I got some nice fucking food for me at the house after this.
Just as long
Is it
as it's not
chicken?
wings.
No, it's I want to say it's like cold cuts and like fries. Probably
Cold cut
or some
chicken?
shit. No, you know, like your turkey
Oh, okay.
ham,
And
all that.
fries?
Yeah,
So you put cold cuts with fries?
like on the side. Yeah, like curly fries and like a hoagie sandwich.
You don't use potato
Hoagie
chips?
sandwich.
That too. Yeah, that's there too. Fuck yeah.
That's a lot. That's a lot of stuff.
Oh hell
But
yeah.
like, also at
Man.
the same time, like they have like, speaking of like the coronavirus and shit, like we can't end up even having like I've been playing video games so much that like I don't even want to play video games anymore. Like I'm running out of
Exactly.
things to do. Like
Yep.
I've played MLB The Show 20. I bought it because I'm stupid.
I'm pissed because I got to that point where like I had 0 video games when the start. I just used my PS4 for like Netflix and
Yep.
Hulu
Yeah,
and
I
stuff
see
like that.
you on there now.
I don't even-
Yard Dog 20.
Yep, that's me. PS4.
All right.
Screw Xbox. But yeah, I don't have any video games. I actually just got a Wii from my mom. And
You
my
got
girl,
weed from your mom?
I wish I got weed from my mom, but no, I got the old Wii from my mom, and my girlfriend had Wii Sports, and I got tennis elbow already. I can feel it.
Tennis elbow.
Tennis elbow.
Peyton, how is the MLB 2020?
It's good.
It's a good game.
I enjoy it. And road to the show, I ended up getting called up in August. I was first base, and they moved me to left field. And then in May of 2021, that's where I'm at right now, they moved me back to first base.
I think I'm going to buy that after this show.
I
Good
get
game.
it,
Yeah.
It's a good game.
but like
can't
I'm
go
just
wrong with the
running out
show.
of shit to do though. Like
Yeah.
I've been playing it so much. Like I got called up from the minors to the major leagues. We won the World Series in like the 2020 season against the Cubs in a 6-game series. But I ended up like playing the game. I got called up in August and I hit like 25 home runs in August from the that
What, you
August
playing
from
on
Sep-
rookie?
Yeah.
He's got those sliders
The
all the way
sliders
up,
are all-
mass power.
I'm playing on All Pro. Yeah,
That's
but the
right.
sliders are all the way to the right.
So you had 25 home runs. What did you have, like 79 RBIs?
Yeah, like right around there, like
Damn.
79,
In
80.
August.
And my
Where'd you
batting
fa-
average was like 450. Like
Where'd you
470.
He's one of
fall in
those
the
guys.
MVP voting?
I was the World Series MVP, the ALCS MVP, the Rookie of the Year in 2 fucking months.
But who's counting?
It is the most realistic baseball game out there, so.
That's right.
And like I tried franchise, but like franchise, like it's tough. Like I played my one friend Cody on there like before the show today, and like he was up 2-0. I had Shane Bieber on the hill, and then I ended up having Fran Reyes hit a dinger to right, and then it was 2-2. And then he scored another 2 runs, and it was 4-2. And I'm like, oh, fuck, I could come back. And then he ended up dropping like 7 runs on me, and there's just airs out the ass. And I'm like, yeah. I'm like,
Yep.
I want a rematch.
You got to do what I do. I just put that shit on computer versus computer. I turn on my live stream, and I just call the games. That's all I do.
I might end up doing that.
That's what you got to do, man. That's how bored I am. I played it already too much, so now I just want to. We'll see what happens. It's the only form. I don't know who's gonna win, so it helps.
One of the teams.
Peyton, when you play your road to the show, are you that type of guy that plays in the field also and runs bases?
Fuck no, I just hate that.
Okay, good. I was a little worried about you.
I hit and I play the field. I do not run because I'm a first baseman.
Oh,
I'm a truck.
I always ran because I stole bases, but I never played the field. Screw that.
So. But yeah, I played every single
Wait, so
game
you,
so far.
you play every single ground out that you catch
no,
at first? Okay.
every
Oh
moment.
man.
Like every moment that like a ball, like I ended up playing like a total road to the show game is like 5 minutes.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
not bad,
pretty
yeah.
much. That's not bad.
But jumping back into the NBA, we do have baseball to talk about still, though. We'll end up talking about MLB The Show here a little bit later with Andy Jardy, who's been helping out with Jensen Lewis, simulating the Cleveland Indians season. I believe they're like 7-4 or 7-3 in the video game, not in real life, obviously. But
Wish.
CJ McCollum ended up mentioning the fact that he stated that he's been pitching in the NBA, pun intended, he's been pitching to the NBA one-on-one tournaments for money during All-Star Game weekend, and Damian Lillard suggested that these players get to challenge their opponents.
Hell yeah.
So imagine these matchups that you could be having. You could have James Harden against Damian Lillard, LeBron against Giannis, Kyrie, whoever.
And dream matchups. I mean,
Right.
you don't get to see that often. And the All-Star Game's a joke as it is. The dunk contest is a joke.
Right.
The skills challenge is a joke. The 3-point shooting contest is the only thing I think's really worth watching in All-Star Weekend. And it's one night. That's
What would you like to see them do to the All-Star game to bring it back to its prestige? Because a lot of people are saying that they like the format that is now. I personally don't. I like to go back to the old traditional East versus West.
Yeah.
And I don't like the duplicate number thing. Like, go back to the old school where Karl Malone had when he wore 32 and he went to the All-Star game, he had a number that was symbolized. Like, this year I'm going to wear 11. You know, Scottie Pippen wore 33, then he wore 30 one year. Go back to that stuff, man. Yeah. And you can get more jersey sales that way too.
I thought they only did that for like the Olympic numbers.
No, they did that. I think up to when was Magic's last game? 96 when he played in Orlando. They did it up to that, and then they allowed them. Or no, it would. Someone looked that up. I think it was 96 was the last year they did that.
Magic Johnson's.
I mean, the best All-Star game there is to watch was the MLB All-Star game when they played for home field advantage.
Yeah.
Just do that in the NBA.
Mattered.
I mean,
Mattered,
you're playing the game halfway through the season. It's not like the Pro Bowl where it's at the end of the year.
That's
and
a
it don't
dog
count.
shit.
So
Yeah,
it's
that's a dog
halfway
shit
through the
game.
season. Why not make the finals home court advantage?
Yeah.
All over the All-Star game. It'd make it a lot more interesting.
So what you're saying is if the West wins,
that the West, that's what the MLB did. The MLB did that for about 5 or 6 years,
They did it
and
for a
they
long
stopped
time,
that too. And it's like
It's only right. I mean,
They're going to bring
it's
it back, though. They're talking about bringing
hope
it
so.
back.
It makes the
It
game
needs
more
to.
competitive.
Games got to matter. I mean, you got to be like All-Star game was awesome. I mean, especially it was in Cleveland. I mean, that was badass. It was.
I
fun.
like the fact
Loved
of
it.
them having like the players mic'd up.
That's
then,
what I'm
too.
saying.
Like,
Why
that's
not
been
do that
something
with
that's
the
been like
NBA?
super popular.
Yeah.
And I like the format though, and like even Mike even mentioned too on our Facebook live stream that the East versus West make the game for home court advantage for the finals. Like it's just like that would be the way that the game should be, which I agree with. But also at the same time, I mean, even if you do that in the NBA, I like the idea that they did this past year when you end up having you have to get 24 more points in the final quarter because there were so many question marks, and at first I really didn't like it, but it was like, I'm like, all right, first quarter, all right. I think I ended up playing NBA 2K19 because I was stuck in last year. But like I was playing that, and I'm like, all right, second, third, and I'm like, go on Twitter, and people are just talking about this game, and they're like, wow, this game's really good. And I'm like, all right, fuck it. I'm going to turn it on and see what's going on because it's worth watching. And then I'm sitting and I'm like, dude, I have to go pee, but I don't want to miss this next basket because they're going down to the wire here. Like, it was completely outrageous. I like that format, and you could still do East versus West.
Yeah.
Before we do end up going to break here soon, the NBA also, well, before I go into that, Trae Young ended up saying that, and I don't know how I actually like this statement just because it doesn't sound competitive, but Trae Young said on Instagram Live that he had the Lakers winning it all this year, and his exact quote was, LeBron was on a mission. It was the craziest thing I've ever seen.
I've heard that before about LeBron when they say like, hey, he's on a mission throughout that season to like get something fucking done. So that's funny. Like that's not the first time I've heard that about LeBron.
No,
James.
but
he has that extra gear that just puts him
right. We saw it in Cleveland, but was he going to take him to a championship? I don't think so.
I mean, he might have. I mean, you got to figure
know.
Anthony Davis is a top 5 player in his own right.
Right.
And I believe that Laker team was a lot better than the Cavs team. Any of the Cavs teams that we had over that 4-year span.
And I mean, about that, but I guess I can kind of see
everybody said LeBron was gonna go to the West, and the West was gonna be a tough task for him, and he's proven already that it's not.
Now,
especially this year.
Now, is that because what if Stephen Curry and those guys in Golden State? What if everyone up there was healthy?
I mean,
this past year or in general?
Like in general,
Just
and
in general,
and LeBron went west. Will LeBron and the Lakers still have?
His mom did. Go on though.
But will LeBron be putting up these numbers right now? If the Splash Brothers were still kicking it?
Yeah, I think LeBron would. Yeah,
I feel like he'd be.
LeBron would, but
I mean, the
no.
Lakers would still be a top 4 team in the West.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah,
And
but I don't think
it
he
does.
would have...
Once you get to the playoffs, it doesn't matter. I mean,
yeah, it's a whole new game.
LeBron can go into his mode like he did. I mean, what
Zero
the
dark
Cavs
30.
were.
I think
Cavs were the 4 seed.
Yeah.
And the year they went to the finals.
Is that when we beat Toronto with that fucking bucket beater or whatnot?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
I don't like the term buzzer beater anymore. Bucket beater is so much better.
Bucket beater. Look at that. Riggs is making all kinds of shit up.
I thought I said buzzer beater, but I guess I did.
The bucket
Best
beater.
things are made on accident. That's my can't have the parents,
dude,
but
Damn.
that's where beavers live.
What?
God damn it.
Mm-hmm.
Also,
God don't make dams.
Rick, shut the fuck up. Before we end up going to break, this will be the last topic for the NBA. So ESPN and the NBA, they have officially made it official. They wanted to work on televising a horse tournament between NBA players at their own gyms, and earlier today they ended up making it official. And I want to say the participants are Trae Young, Zach LaVine, and Chris Paul.
Levine,
whatever. One guy's from Maroon 5, the other guy's from the Bulls. But they're having NBA players, NBA alumni, and WNBA players as well.
What's that?
Women.
Wait, what?
The WNBA, Women's National Basketball Association.
WNBA.
Yeah.
Is it new?
No, that's been around since like '96.
No way.
I swear to God, you never heard of someone named Lisa Leslie, Candace Parker, Sue Bird?
all of them.
No.
Legends.
Why'd you growl into the microphone?
Yeah.
Because I don't know why I growled. Yeah, but I'm just thinking about some Sue Bird.
They should do a WNBA game of horse also, just fancy layups.
with that light ass ball.
Didn't they do that already?
Yeah, that was
They
the Shooting
probably
Stars
did.
competition.
Oh
remember?
God.
But as we end up going to break here, guys, one of the We Like Sportz sponsors, one of the We Like Sportz sponsors are Jersey Crate. You could follow them on Twitter at Jersey_Crate, CRATE. And you could get 10% off of any basketball jersey. I believe that's all they have right now. But any basketball jersey, 10% off by using the code SPORTZ, SPORTZ. Again, that's SPORTZ, SPORTZ for 10% off at Jersey Crate. And they also have a website as well, which would be jerseycrate.com. Riggs, how about you read off one of the sponsors, and then we'll be back from break.
Cater Printing, 9925 Rollton Road, Unit D, North Rollton, Ohio. Check out Cater Printing for all of your quality screen printing needs. Everything from basic pools and T-shirts to high-performance products and corporate apparel. Check out their website and let Amy hook you up today at Cater Printing at 440-668-1579. That's 440-668-1579. Cater Printing.
Never broke stride.
That
was professional right there.
And we are back here for the We Like Sportz podcast. I'm Riggs, also here with
Mike.
Timmy.
John.
Austin.
But before we get things
Riggs, Keith, Austin, Payton.
yes, there we go. Before we get things started, we want to give out one of our sponsors, our favorite sponsor, my motherfucking favorite sponsor.
It's a lubrication, isn't
Oh, that's
it?
on the next page. Son of a bitch. That's what I get for being Lubrication Supply, LLC, Norwalk, Ohio. We provide lubricants for a wide range of applicants on and off the road, farming, excavating, metalworking, trucking, food grade, and some S-Earl sprays. Call Kevin or Jim.
Aerosol sprays.
I said aerosol. Yeah, I'll get it. In the field or track, let us put you in the winner circle. Lubrication Supply, LLC, Norwalk, Ohio. The phone number is 330-813-2305, motherfuckers. Lubrication.
You gotta chill with them motherfuckers after sponsor.
Oh, I'm so sorry. It's not like a diss to them. It's more like to be like, that's going to stop.
I understand your hype. 15. Ask Riggs about the number 15 tattooed on him.
Just always have. We have someone calling in.
How's it going, Andy?
Good. How are you guys?
Good. We're having a blast here on the We Like Sportz podcast. So we mentioned a little bit earlier on before you ended up calling in about MLB The Show and how that's been occupying our time. Obviously, there's a little bit of a backstory with you in MLB The Show as well. I don't know as much of the details, but obviously, Andy, you know more than me. I know that Jensen Lewis has been tagging you in all of his tweets for MLB The Show 20. Please explain a little bit about what's going on and what you and Jensen are doing for the Cleveland Indians COVID season.
Yeah, so it kind of started out as a joke. I actually think the first time Jensen tweeted anything, I don't even think we had started simulating it. I think he just missed baseball and like made up some updates on that first one. And then he let me know that he was getting a PS4 and that we could be playing MLB The Show soon. And so then I told him, like, well, hey, why don't we just simulate a season? Because, you know, people are just, like, looking for something to do right now.
That's
and
right.
So we started doing it, and it's been a lot of fun. Initially, we were kind of 50-50 if we were going to keep doing it, depending on sort of the response we got from it. But there were a couple negative people right off the bat, as always. But a lot of people seem to be enjoying it, and it's just something kind of to look forward to every day as we're just sitting around doing nothing and waiting for, you know, the world to get better.
That's awesome. Andy, this is Austin from the We Like Sportz Podcast. We were talking a little bit earlier about how Payton's doing his road to the show, and he got called up in August and finished the season somehow with 25 home runs and about 80 RBIs. Yeah. And we know he's probably playing on rookie and has the sliders all the way up.
It's
so
and nothing with the sliders.
So are you just keeping it on a standard difficulty level, or what's going on with that?
Yeah, I think we've got it. I believe it's set at veteran for both, and we're just doing like the quick manage option on it. And so I'll typically like simulate or manage through it about an hour or two before the game is actually scheduled to start. So it's crazy that the Indians already would have played 13 games at this point in the year if we were playing baseball. But it's yeah, we just kind of quick manage it, and I'll text Jensen kind of during it, and I'll send him the lineup beforehand, and if he approves of them, then we'll go with them. Sometimes we'll make some game time decisions and whatnot, but then we just kind of let the simulation take over, and it's been pretty realistic to what I kind of expected the Indians to do at this point in the season. They're 8-5, and I mean, when you have 7 of your first 10 games of the season against the Tigers, you kind of expect that record to be a little inflated, and they went 6-1 against Detroit in our simulation. So, wow. That's kind of where I thought we would be at this point.
So, Andy, this is Payton again. So I know earlier on, this was kind of the first time that I ended up realizing that you guys were doing this. Was I ended up tweeting Jensen, and I'm sure you got it because you were tagged in it as well. And I was asking the question as to why Francisco Lindor was slumping in the game. It seems that he's slowly coming out of it. We're just treating it as if it's actually happening. He went 3 for 5 with a homer and 2 RBIs. Do you think he's coming out of his slump?
I think, yeah. I think, kind of the whole contract negotiation thing probably has been weighing on him a bit. That's why I'm here in Cleveland. I think that's definitely there. And if you might have noticed, we've moved him to the 3-hole in the lineup, and we've had Carlos Santana leading off. So,
right.
I like that.
Maybe a little bit of an adjustment period for him right there, too. But, yeah, he had a big game against the Twins here actually today, this afternoon. So, yeah, that was good stuff, and we hope he's turning it around because we have to enjoy him, while we can.
That's what we're told, right? And
That's awesome.
Going back, I guess, to reality here, with Francisco Lindor, with the season being, I guess, kind of in jeopardy, kind of not, depending on what's going on. It's still up in limbo. But what are your thoughts on the whole entire Francisco Lindor situation? And do you think Francisco Lindor ends up signing an extension here, or if he ends up walking and we're stuck with enjoying him?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think the Indians are obviously going to make him an offer. I don't think it's going to be anywhere near what he can make, and I think he'll probably be somewhere else next year. It's curious to think, like, if the season had gotten underway, and maybe it still does get underway, but I don't know how the trade deadline and all that would be affected, but you would think that the Indians would want to get something for him. So I'd probably, if they were 6 games out of the division come trade deadline, maybe they try to dump him then, but I really don't think he'll be back next year, which is horribly depressing, but I don't know. It'd be hard for me to see him signing here just because we've seen so many other players the last couple of years, come to this same situation and they're just gone.
Yeah, Andy, this is Austin again. I agree with everything you just said on that. What are your thoughts on this coronavirus having an impact on free agency and contract negotiations with all these owners losing out on a ton of money, ton of revenue, no ticket sales, even when they come back to play? There's going to be no crowd initially. I mean, how can that affect and possibly help the Indians keep Lindor in that case, maybe for cheaper deals since this whole thing's going kind of haywire?
That's a good question.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure how there was an article the other day, and I couldn't bring myself to read it because the news is so depressing right now as it is, but it was basically like if the entire 2020 MLB season is wiped out, then the Indians could potentially be doomed for the next 5 years because you run into obviously Lindor's contract, I believe, would then be up, and then a couple guys are in their pre-arbitration and stuff like that. I think Mercado is one of the guys in there. But it was just, I couldn't bring myself to read it because it was just too depressing to think wow, this year not happening could really, really hurt the team for the future. And especially, a mid-major market team like the Indians who have to kind of do all the little things right. This could really kind of put them behind if this season gets wiped out.
And this is Payton again. So obviously not talking so much about the Indians, but MLB as a whole. Justin Turner ended up mentioning the fact that for the MLB crowd as a whole, that he kind of wants to change the idea of extra innings. And he says that they should do 1 inning of extras, and then teams should have 3 of their best hitters, and then go into a home run derby, and it would keep fans in the stands. Ideally, what would your thoughts be? Is that something you could actually see in the future? Do you like that idea? What are your thoughts, Andy?
I am very much a purist when it comes to baseball. That's one of the few things where I'm just I don't like a lot of change happening to it. So I enjoy kind of the absurdity of extra innings when it just keeps going and nobody can do anything. I get the argument somewhat to, try and keep fans entertained because not everyone has the same ridiculous mindset that I do about we're in the 15th inning. This is the greatest thing ever. But yeah, I mean, there's that. I've heard that. And then obviously, what's the one rule too? I think they want to after you get to the 12th inning, you have a guy lead off the inning at second base with 1 out or something like that. So Manfred's made so many changes and wants to make a lot of changes that I wouldn't be shocked to see something kind of in the future here come about and change up in extra innings and anything to change the pace of play. I'm very curious to see how the whole 3 minimum batter for relief pitchers is going to affect a lot of the situational guys that the Indians have in their bullpen, like an Oliver Perez. How does he adjust to that? So we'll see what happens whenever we actually do get back and start playing games again.
And also, Andy, with the fact of, I guess, prediction time, when you come to predictions, if the Indians, let's just give a ballpark, in reality, if they end up playing, how you think they end up doing, I don't really think we could end up thinking of a record just because we don't know what the timetable and how many games they're going to play. But what do you think is going to be the end result this year for the Indians, as well as how do you think they do in the simulation of MLB The Show? Do you see a World Series? Because in my road to the show, it was the Cubs against the Indians, and I won in Game 6 as the Indians. So, yeah, we didn't have to relive that nightmare.
Thank you.
Whew. Yeah, that's great. It's hard to say, obviously, now because we don't know how many games they're going to play. I thought going into this year, the Indians were going to kind of be how they were last year. I think a lot of people forget they won 93 games last year, and the team didn't drastically change too much. Obviously, Corey Kluber's not a part of it, but you still have Shane Bieber and Mike Clevenger. So one good thing with all of this is that, whenever play does hopefully resume, the Indians should be at full strength whenever that happens because they've got a couple guys out with injuries. So you hope that they're fully recovered whenever we do get underway here. But I thought they could win the division. I thought they could finish in third place. I thought they could make the second wild card. I really didn't have – I think the White Sox got a lot better. I think the Twins are still good, but I think the Indians pitching is always going to keep them in it, and the Central is definitely winnable. I think the Twins come back down to earth a little bit this year. I just think the White Sox lineup is a lot better than the Indians lineup. So I thought it was really going to come down between obviously those three teams, but I could make a case for them winning the division or just maybe making the second wild card.
This is Austin again. One question about our pitching staff. With the history of the Indians, they seem to always find a stud and, a diamond in the rough from the minor leagues that they just groom into, a potential Cy Young winner. It seems like it happens every 2-3 years. Do you see anybody right now, maybe like a Zach Plesac, or maybe anybody in the minor leagues right now that could make that jump and be a really big part of the rotation this year?
Yeah, I'm really excited to see like another season of Aaron Savali because I just thought he was so Kluber-esque. I mean, they seem to just groom, like you mentioned, they just like groom these guys that are very what's the word I'm looking for? They're very even-mannered out there on the hill. They don't let the game kind of dictate their emotions, and they seem very composed. So I was curious to see Savali again this year. I do want to see more of Plesac because I think he's really good. Obviously, he's got that ridiculous pickoff move that, seemed to get everybody out last year. So I was kind of looking forward to seeing him. And obviously, we hear Tristan McKenzie's name a lot too. So, I really want to see too the guy that we got in the Kluber trade, Clase, like whenever he gets healthy again. I mean, playing with him in MLB The Show is certainly a lot of fun. He can hit 100 miles per hour, and he's got that nasty cutter that I definitely want to see in person. So, yeah, I mean, they've got the pitching, that's for sure.
Do you guys have any more questions before we end up letting Andy go, guys? Or?
Yeah, I have one. This is Riggs. I was wondering, during playing the show or any baseball game, have you ever pitched a perfect game or came close to pitching one?
And what difficulty?
Yeah, so I think last year's version of MLB The Show, I threw a no-hitter with Kluber, but I believe it was on veteran difficulty. I tend to play on the dynamic one for a little bit, but I think when I first started playing it, it was on veteran, and Kluber threw a no-hitter against the Twins on the season opener last year, which was a lot of fun and whatnot. But that, I believe, would be the only time I did. I came close with my player in Road to the Show actually earlier today. I blew it in the 7th inning, though. I'm in the Marlins farm system.
Okay, I was going to ask what level you're at.
That was me. I blew my no-hitter.
Yeah, so I'm with the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp, which is a great matchup.
I need to get ahead of that.
I started pitching in the Southern League All-Star game, and then they promoted me. I didn't even go to AAA. I went straight to the Marlins, and I'll be making my first start soon.
Well, good luck.
Good luck, kid.
Keep us updated.
Right.
Of course.
And do you guys have any more questions for Andy at all before we end up letting him go and give out his social media?
I'm good. I mean, I want to watch more of the show, so that's the thing. I mean, that's what I started doing. This is Keith. I started doing I got really, really bored, and I had to put it. This is how bad I miss baseball. I actually put it on computer versus computer and just started live streaming calling games. That's how bored I was, and that's my only source of entertainment now is live. And I feel like I'm hammy out there, right? Like that's what I think I sound like, but everybody's like, nah, dude, not even close. So it's like
you sound like a little girl. What's
right?
going on?
I know. You don't sound at all like hammy. I'm screaming every time they hit it. It's deep and way back, but it's not. It's like at the pitcher's mound.
Oh, so it's just like hammy, then.
Right? So I look forward to that.
Who's got Major League the show for sale? I got cash right now. I'm not trying to go to
Network.
Walmart. Who's got it for sale right now? Anybody that brings it
guy.
here, I'll give him an extra $10 for the sale.
Perfect. I'll get it.
Well, we'll end up having to talk on the next break. But, Andy, before we end up letting you go, give out your social media. And if you're streaming any of these games, where our fans can find you at.
So, yeah, my Twitter handle is just my name. It's at Andy Jardy. That's Jardy. And Jensen tends to be the one. I'll take all the pictures, and then Jensen tweets them out. He's obviously got a bigger following than I do. So he will post all of the stuff there. So go follow Jensen as well on Twitter. I believe he's at JLou50, but I should know that off the top of my head, but I don't.
You're right. You're right. That's what it is.
Yeah, you can find Jensen on Twitter. He'll tend to post the recaps and stuff usually the day of, or he does it the next day whenever he's not terribly busy doing other stuff. So
Like playing more games during the show.
Right.
yeah, yes, absolutely.
Well, Andy, thank you again for calling in, and hopefully we could end up having you call back here soon with
you,
actually MLB games going on, and hopefully successful Cleveland Indians teams as well.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks a lot, guys, and stay safe, and hopefully we're all at a game here soon.
You
For
as
sure.
well. Have a good one, Andy.
Thank you, Andy.
Thank you.
Thanks.
That's
Made me miss
hilarious,
baseball.
Riggs. It makes me miss baseball a lot. But
Yeah.
you asked him the question about the perfect game. I was playing my player. I think it was MLB 2K11
Dude,
or something.
2K
It was a
is such
2K.
trash,
It was
though.
trash.
Yeah.
But
Mine
this
was
is
at
back
12 or
before.
13,
This was
so-
back before the show was like super,
The only
super
baseball
good.
game you should play.
Right.
Only
Yeah.
game in town.
2K wasn't too bad at that point. It did end up, sucking. But I had my player. I'm in the 9th inning. 1 out. Dude hits a line drive right off my guy. Right to the ground. Pick it up. Throw it to first base. I'm like, let's go. One more out.
You got Jason
Next
Donaldson.
thing you know,
Or Jason
flash
Josh
upon the
Donaldson.
screen. Pitcher Austin Howard suffered an injury with
Oh.
1 out left.
You know what pisses me off about
I
you?
almost broke my controller. I've never done that before, but
Yeah.
I almost did.
This is what pisses me off about you, because I'm not going to lie. Earlier today, I have my own guy playing as a batter, and I'm like, you know what? I'm like, Austin used to play baseball. I feel like he'll have his name in this game, because right now my name, instead of Peyton Vince, it's Parker Vincent. It's as close as you're going to get to Peyton Vince, and it pisses me off. Austin, I made a guy like him, 6'6", looking like Mike Clevenger,
Sunshine.
big old lefty, and they actually have the option for Austin Howard.
Oh, they always do. I have 2 first names. I mean,
But like here I am, and I'm like, I can't even get my guy. Like Keith, how many Keiths are there when you end up playing the game? If you end up creating your guy, how
Not
many?
many.
And like LeConte.
I go with my middle
Trust
name.
me. No.
I go Sean.
Oh, that's fair.
Trust me, it
we're-
gets annoying after a while. Every time you hear Matt Vasgersian's voice go, "Now up, Austin Howard."
Right?
It's like that.
Can we just settle this real quick
like,
before we go to break 2? That Matt Excursion sucks.
Matt Vasgersian's the worst.
Like, he is
The
not a
worst.
good announcer. Can we just...
Santa Maria.
Thank
That
you.
was
come
the
on.
only good call
Bad.
though. Was the
That's
game against the Yankees with Lindor when he screamed. Like,
Yeah, that was great. That was a
the
great
only
call.
good call.
That was the only one I've ever heard of him.
Him and A-Rod, dude, they both are awful callers. Like, A-Rod just talks and he has no idea what he's actually physically talking about. Like, if he's not talking about something third base related, he sucks. Like,
Right,
he
it's
just
like
can't call a game.
Out of his
Then he
comfort
starts talking
zone.
about being in the crowd and just looking at
Yeah.
J-Lo all the time.
Yeah, it's
just
like weird
distracted.
things.
Wait,
Look
we're
at that.
talking about what?
It's like J-Lo.
He's got
You
J-Lo
never-
sitting in the booth with him.
Yeah.
He's distracted.
It's basically that hot dog guy over there. He really had an arm on him. That's all he knows how to do. Like, he sucks. Like, he's bad.
Here's a real random story.
I
for
wonder
you.
what J-Lo would think about that hot dog guy.
He's got an arm on him. He has 2 actually.
Yeah, it's stuff like that. Like, man, if he would have just caught it, it would have been an out.
That's who the announcers are in the game.
No.
They
Well,
have
Matt
Mark
Vasgersian
DeRosa,
is, but DeRosa,
Vasgersian, and then Plesac uncle.
Did you guys hear who's taking over the Monday Night Football broadcast?
Who?
Herb Street and Chris Fowler.
I like it.
Really?
I love Herb
Yes.
Street. Herb Street's the best.
I also
football
saw
announcer in the
something
game.
for ESPN or
That's
Sunday
different.
Night Football that they were trying to get Peyton Manning and somebody else in there in the booth.
I've heard that too.
Brad
yeah.
Paisley.
So is Herb Street going to still do college football?
No, they are gonna
He's done.
they're gonna switch them. They're
don't-
gonna move. So they're gonna move Booger McFarland and what's the other dude's name in the tower with them?
I don't.
They're moving the Monday Night Football crew to Saturday night
Football?
college.
Wow. I used to miss it because Ohio State would always play on Saturday night. And you got, Herbie, the old Buckeye. He's always got our back on national TV. So
And your front.
and our front.
That's right.
But quick thing. My no hitter, I was Danny Salazar. I was playing the Blue Jays.
That's definitely a video game.
Danny Salazar?
Yeah, he got hurt in the 5th inning. It was a no-hitter.
No, I got complacent because I was whooping the Blue Jays, and I was like, I'll just throw my changeup outside that little box, and next thing I know, I just got lazy, and it just went right underneath Nick Swisher at first base. I was like, oh shit.
That
Really?
explains a lot. Nick
Really? It
Swisher.
had to be Nick Swisher.
Yeah.
Anybody else but Nick Swisher.
I'd rather have Ryan Garco than Nick Swisher.
And if Nick Swisher's listening to this, you know why.
Right in the middle of the 7th, I was, oh my god, I just blew it.
I think I'd much rather have Matt Laporta at first than Nick Swisher.
Bring Russell Branyan
Anybody
back.
wants anybody. I mean, listen.
I had him playing right field. I'm like, no, you come
Nick
first.
Swisher. I mean, all you need to know about him is he's a has-been. Always has been. He's just not very good.
I see what you did there.
I gotta find this. Hold on.
Just wait, I'll get a text here in a minute.
I hope you do.
It's lit.
But like the thing is too is like I've had a couple like no hitters and perfect games, all with like Kluber and like whatnot. I think I had one with Bauer
Yeah,
too. But
real
like,
pitchers.
yeah, and like also my difficulty is really low. I've learned today that I need to up my difficulty.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
also too, going back to my road to the show, like there is like they have like the challenges in the game. And now in the game they're like, well, you have to have an even counter ahead of the
Yeah.
count. Well, I can't get ahead of the count when these MFers are
Right.
just throwing it right down the middle and they're not even going. Like, they're not even throwing any balls. So it's like, all right, I'm going to swing it. I'm going to
first
hit the
pitch.
ball. Yeah,
I
like,
don't think
I
I've
got another
ever.
baseball game question when we get back from break. Too.
My buddy
Baseball
posted on Twitter. It's a picture. I don't know if you can see, but the caption's "You got to pick 3 of these guys," and the guys is just hilarious. Let's see.
Where are they from?
You got for all former Indians players. You got Jody Garrett. You got Jason Davis, Ben Broussard, Jeremy Sowers, Milton Bradley,
Milton Bradley.
Aaron Laffey,
Laffey.
Matt Laporta, and Ryan Garco. And that's just like the echelon of crappy Indians players
Yeah.
that somehow stuck around too long.
Like
and you
Swisher.
got to pick 3 of them.
I have to look
So-
at that list during break.
Oh,
so
that's hilarious.
who is it again?
All right. Start out. You got Jody Garrett, Jason Davis, Ben Broussard, Jeremy Sowers, Milton Bradley, Ryan Garco, Aaron Laffey, and Matt Laporta.
I'm taking Milton Bradley, Ben Broussard, and
You gotta take Laporta.
no.
Adam Laporta.
Who else is he gonna take?
I'm going to take Jody Garrett because he was pretty decent in the outfield.
Yeah,
He wasn't
bad.
I
good.
guess he was
He was
okay.
decent.
Yeah.
He was. Yeah, I mean.
He was a good stopgap for 50 games that we
it's
had
like
him.
Decent is a very loose word of decent, I guess.
So before we end up going to break, I do want to look at that list again. But Austin, our good friend Razor Sharp, ended up giving us a shout-out. So a shout-out right back to him. He said, what's up, Payton?
You ain't ready.
That's what we're going to come back to.
You ain't ready.
What?
Razor, what's going on, though? We miss you. Miss wrestling, too.
Miss you, Razor.
But, guys, another We Like Sportz podcast sponsor. Guys, are you guys having a little bit of a bush this year because
I
of
have.
the quarantine? Of
I have
2020?
gotten very, very lazy.
I was gonna talk to Riggs about possible cornrows.
cornrows. Wow, okay.
I've been very, very aggravated and pissed off because of this quarantine.
So, obviously, for anybody listening at home, too, if you're listening to the podcast, listening to the show right now, stuck inside your house with your girlfriend, maybe boyfriend, however you float, doesn't matter. But everybody wants to be clean down there. Am I right?
Yeah,
So today's sponsor is
Depends.
Manscaped, and they could help you out with clean hygiene when it comes to shaving your balls.
That's right.
That's word for word what they want me to say.
All right.
Manscaped.com. Clean hygiene for shaving your balls.
It's time to quarantine, Manscaped, and chill,
That's
along
right.
with those Netflix. So, guys, if you want help, get 20% off
Ooh.
and free shipping
Wow.
with the code SPORTZ, SPORTZ, at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com using the code MANSCAPED, or
Words are hard for you.
using the code SPORTZ, SPORTZ, at Manscaped. Most people are loading up on toilet paper, but I'm loading up on Manscaped products. Help your relationship out during this quarantine. Your partner, your body, and your balls will thank you.
That's right.
And that's 20% off using the code SPORTS at manscaped.com. Riggs, read off one of our Redline Radio LLC sponsors
Are we
as
sure?
well.
Are we sure?
I'm giving them one more shot.
Yeah, one more shot.
Remember,
Wiggins Construction Company Home Improvement. Do you have that one home project that you feel you've been dreaming of but never have time to do? Dealing with storm damage. For all your home improvement needs, Wiggins Construction and Home Improvement is ready to fix it. Contact William for your free estimate. William Construction and Home Improvement. That's 440-731-4654 at 7512 Ridge Road, Elyria, Ohio. The owner is Will Riggins.
Will Wiggins.
I'm going to read the next one.
Go ahead, you're good.
back to the We Like Sports Podcast.
Except no mics. There we go.
There's the mic.
All right, do it again.
Welcome back to the We Like Sportz Podcast. We are brought to you by Millsy Motorsports, your GM front-wheel drive performance specialist. Our services include dyno tuning, PCM programming, custom fabrication, performance parts, engine buildings, cylinder head porting, maintenance, and engine swaps. American muscle-born Millsy Motorsports.
Caller, how's it going?
Pretty good. How are you?
Good.
That's my brother. I
Oh.
could tell from the voice.
So, what would you like to talk about today?
I'd like to talk about the NFL. Talk about Tom Brady a little bit. Patriots.
Why? You're from Cleveland. What the hell?
Oh, you're the good brother.
Wow, you hit the good brother. So, what would you like to talk about with the Patriots, Tom Brady, and the Falcons? Do you want to talk about their new uniforms?
Nah, I don't really care about the uniforms that much.
They suck anyway.
They suck. Yeah.
I care about the Browns uniform. I don't really care about the Bucks uniform.
Was that April 15th that comes out?
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Okay. Talk about how I think this is the last 2 years that Tom Brady has. I don't think he's going to be playing much more after this. I think the Patriots aren't going to be as good this year without him. I think they'll still make the playoffs with Belichick. I just don't think they're going to be good enough to win the Super Bowl, especially without Tom Brady. The Bills, I think, are going to win the division this year.
Wow.
They've made some moves. I think they only got better. Patriots seems to be getting worse. So yeah, I think the Buccaneers will go to the playoffs. I don't think they're going to win the Super Bowl. I mean, Tom Brady has way more weapons than he's had in New England in a super long time. I still don't think it's going to be enough. What do you guys think? Do you think it'll be enough to get them to the Super Bowl this year with Tom Brady?
Well,
I don't know about the Super Bowl. I definitely think they will be a playoff contender.
Right.
You always see in other sports, star players going over to a new system, and it might take that first year, for them to get used to everything. I mean, you got a bunch of guys coming in, and Tom Brady demands a very, very high workload of his receivers, and these guys are going to be new to that, and it's gonna be all about how they adjust to him, I think.
and this is Payton from the We Like Sportz Podcast. As if you didn't know already, Keith's brother, that we don't know your name.
Kevin.
Kevin. But yeah, I mean, I honestly don't think that Tom Brady and the Buccaneers will actually go on to succeed. And I think it's debatable on the weapons that he does have, because I still feel like he doesn't have enough to actually be successful. But time will tell. I feel like they could end up getting somebody in the draft, or they could end up having a free agent signing. One thing that we were going to talk about NFL-wise is the fact that Antonio Brown ended up hiring an agent and is hopeful for an NFL return. And a while back, we mentioned the fact that maybe Bill Belichick was the reason why he didn't work out in New England, and Atlanta could end up going, or not Atlanta, Tampa Bay could end up going down that route and trying to get Antonio Brown to pair up with Tom Brady.
I think that would be cool. I think the reason why Antonio Brown is in the league, I think because he went batshit crazy. He's done.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
Something happened to his mind. I mean, it'd be cool if he came back with Tom Brady. I think also too, Tom Brady was a contributing factor in why they didn't go super far last year. I mean, his weapons were a big part too, but I also think that they led the league in throwaway passes. It's smart, but you need a player that is willing to, try to get that extra few yards and stuff like that. Tom Brady wasn't really playing, I don't think, for a championship last year. I think he was playing to preserve his career and to sign with another team. I think he knew what was going to happen. He wasn't playing like a younger player would, hey, I'm laying it all on the line, So if he's willing to lay it all on the line with this team in the next 2 years, I think they can go pretty far.
Hey, Kevin, this is Austin from the We Like Sportz Podcast. Quick question for you. I know right now Brian Hoyer is slotted to be the starter in New England at the moment, I believe. And I'm a personal big fan of Brian Hoyer. But
Romanberger?
What?
Romanberger, Brian Hoyer?
He did do
Brian
Miss
Hoyer?
Hero
Yes, he did.
commercials, Yeah.
Yes.
Who told you he was slotted to be the starter? Because
He's
they
their
said
only
that,
quarterback right now that they
no,
got.
he's not.
Well,
Who do they have?
They got Stedman.
Stedman's not going to start.
No.
They said,
Hoyer will beat him out.
They said Belichick's high up on him.
So what
Wow,
do you
really?
think that they'd actually go the Stedman route, or do you see them possibly going for like a Cam Newton
No.
or shooting for maybe a trade?
No,
I think maybe they'll
Hoyer.
trade and get Andy Dalton
Ooh.
and let Stedman sit for a couple years.
They need a veteran anyways.
Yeah,
they
they
can't
need
go.
a veteran.
They're not rebuilding. They need a veteran. They need someone who's going to listen to
Andy Dalton would be good there.
Yeah.
I still
You've
think-
said
I still
that
think
many a
Hoyer's gonna
time.
get
So
it
yeah,
done.
that's your story and you're sticking to it.
Would you take a chance on Joe Flacco there as a
No.
stopgap?
Flacco's
No.
a waste of time, and he's not getting another starting
You know
job
what?
in the
Hey,
Flacco
NFL.
is not elite.
hey, Pittsburgh can send a Mason Rudolph.
Hey, that'd be a good reason for me to hate the Patriots even more. I wouldn't mind.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a tough question. That is. I don't know who. They got to do something. Obviously. I mean, I still
They'll
think
probably
Belichick's
draft a
gonna be-
quarterback.
You think so?
But then
They'll
you
draft.
still,
But then you're still going to take a but he's right. Then you're going to take a rookie aspect to that and try to rebuild it. They're not in a rebuilding phase.
that's not Bill Belichick's way of coaching. So
Right.
I could see them. I mean, I could see them signing Cam Newton, and I think that's what they're going to end up going with, or else try to make a move for Jacoby Brissett and then go from there and have that rookie quarterback underneath him, whether it is Steedham and or else that new rookie that they drafted in 2020. I mean, Jalen Hurts is even that possibility that they could end up getting
Mike
him.
Vallon says bold prediction: New England Patriots trades up to get quarterback Jordan Love.
No,
What's he even projected
no,
to go?
I don't think so.
What school is he out of?
Oregon.
Nah, I don't think he's going to.
Let me see where.
don't know-
Let's
I don't
see
know
on
if that does that
Fanspeak
make
where they end up
sense?
having the prediction for them.
I mean,
They think he's second round pick 2 for the Indianapolis Colts. So I mean, I think he's a late second rounder. I think they picked him a little bit too early. It could end up falling to the Patriots.
What they picked 23, so you got.
They
You
got-
said Jalen Hurts. Is that who you said? Well, they said the Browns were talking to him and trying to get him in a Taysom Hill role. That's what Daryl Ryder was saying from 92.3.
I don't know. I mean,
I don't think they get Jordan Love. I mean, it's going to be very interesting. It's a lot of guess and check for now. But I do feel like they end up going with a veteran, even if it's a Josh McCown type player, because you need somebody to end up having experience. There's no way that Bill
Especially under
Belichick does
Belichick.
that.
That's why I'm saying Brian Hoyer might be a sleeper because he's known
He is not
Belichick's
sold on
system.
Hoyer.
He has
Yeah,
known
he's
Belichick's
not-
system for
He's
so
not
many
sold
years
on
though.
him.
You know, I don't know. I kind of with him. I kind of think it's going to be Hoyer. I think he's going to. I don't think they're going to risk anything else. I mean, they got to get weapons for one.
Yeah.
I mean, look at what, like Kevin said earlier, Brady doesn't have. Brady didn't have weapons. They're
No.
not all of a sudden going to have weapons. So they got to get with Hoyer at least sitting under there, knowing what's going on. Now they
Yeah,
just need
he's
to get
played in
weapons
the
around
scheme
him.
over and over again.
Yeah.
He played with New England from 2009 to 2011, and then back from 2017 to 2018. He's back with New England. It just the story writes itself for him to essentially be the starter for New England and try to figure it out. Because
Right.
even
And Belichick looks like a hero again. You know, if
looking
he
at the
goes for it.
percentages too, like his passer rating isn't that bad in New England from season to season. It's not like he's starting games, but like with New England in 2009, 70% passer rating. 2010, 15 attempts, 46.7. 2011, 3 games played in 1 pass, 1 attempt, 100% completion rating. But like it just pretty much overall, you're gonna have a decent quarterback. Brian Hoyer is currently the journeyman quarterback that a team's gonna need.
Right.
That's a bold prediction for you.
Yeah,
What do you think about the Patriots trading to get Matthew Stafford?
we've talked about that too.
That would be probably their best route
You
because
think-
Matthew Stafford is. I believe Matthew Stafford has the potential to be an elite quarterback.
You think Stafford's worth a late first round, the 23rd pick?
No, I don't think
No, not that. I
no,
think
no,
you're thinking
no.
a second pick.
No
Your
way.
brother's still on the
Not a
phone.
first round. Riggs, you still here, buddy?
Oh yeah, I'm still here. I thought he already had hung up or something.
No,
like,
you
okay.
you would hear it, Riggs.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know if there's like, I guess stay tuned until next week because there is a small possibility that we can have somebody that's currently in the 2020 NFL draft class that's still being in the works. But, I mean, what better way to actually figure out the way that the landscape's going to end up being until it actually happens, I guess, because I mean, if you're any kind of Cleveland fan whatsoever when it comes to basketball and football, because MLB drafts are really on the lower radar.
Nobody watches.
Yeah, nobody pays attention. They don't have any idea what's going on. But everybody plays the what-if game in Cleveland, just like anybody else when they have an early draft seat. So, I mean, we could always say, like, well, what if they trade for this? What if they do this? What if they sign somebody and then it's a sign and trade? Like, I just say stick it out and wait and see what happens because the draft's, I want to say, the 22nd through the 25th. And we'll just check it out back then. So, Kevin, if you want to call back then in the future and we could end up kind of maybe piecing this puzzle together one by then, feel free to call back in then. And thanks for calling in. Do you have any other questions at all before we end up letting you go?
Last. No, I don't think last. I don't know. That's a tough one because I mean,
6-10.
You think 6-10? That's a.
6
I'll
and
give
10.
them 8-8.
6
I think they'll have a 500
6
record.
and 10.
You think they'll be 500?
I can't tell you that until
I think
after
they'll
week 4.
They're only projected. They're only projected to win 6 games this year.
All right, Madden. If it was only a catch, it would have been a catch.
I can't. I'm a diehard Browns fan. I just can't sit here and just tell you off rip like, oh, we're gonna end like this. The Cleveland Browns, they're very unpredictable.
Austin, what do you think? I know you're a big-time
I am a
Browns
huge
fan.
Browns
I feel
fan.
like you're going to have a different take than Riggs is after 4 games. You're going to be 4-0.
I'm gonna cap out and say they'll max get 10 wins this year.
Wow.
But
Nah.
I'm predicting probably, if I'm thinking with my head, I'm thinking an 8-8, possible 7-9. And you're looking,
That's what I.
you're looking at possible second or third in the division. I think.
Well, I said that there was going to be 3 teams coming out of the AFC North. Pittsburgh, Baltimore, and Cleveland.
I mean, if they finish with an 8-8, and I mean, you got to figure there's going to be so many other teams, without having Brady in the AFC anymore. There's not.
I'm just not
a lot
sold
more.
on. I'm just not sold. I just don't know. It's just.
I mean, you had in the AFC. If anything last year taught you one thing, it's that there's no definite answer who's going to be the number 1 seed to come out of the AFC Championship to play in the Super Bowl. Nobody thought the Tennessee Titans and Ryan Tannehill were going to end up being a game away from the Super Bowl.
Exactly.
There's no way.
I did. I sat right here and picked them to go to the AFC Championship game.
What week?
Week before
16.
the playoffs.
Okay, that's fair.
Because I said their defense was very underrated and Baltimore had to lose a game coming up because they were unstoppable for, 11 games?
Yeah. I mean, the Browns were the one team that figured out how to stop the Ravens, and it's just the whole entire formula. Like, when you end up looking at the fact of if you run the ball, and the Browns have the ability to run the ball with Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb, Baker Mayfield doesn't have to do much besides getting blows behind Cheesecake Factory.
Still on that.
Somebody has to be. But
That's my quarterback.
I don't
That's my
think it
quarterback.
happened. I don't think it happened.
It didn't happen.
I don't believe it.
I believe him. He's a stand-up guy.
I don't know if he's
well, yeah,
bad,
when you're getting blown.
I mean, well, look at Roethlisberger. I mean, he's a stand-up guy, right?
So's Kellen Winslow then too, right?
Oh, ouch! Now you're cutting
Damn.
deep.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean,
Sheesh. You
Pittsburgh
fired the
fans-
first shot.
Pittsburgh fans always end up hearing it with Ben Roethlisberger, but now
Because
Cleveland has their
that's all they got.
But we can counter back now with Kellen Winslow.
That's not all we got.
Kellen Winslow
Touching
was
old
here for
Lincoln.
No,
Oh,
no,
yeah.
some Cleveland Browns fans, that's the
That's
first
all
thing
you
they go
got.
to is Ben Roethlisberger.
Yeah,
this,
yeah,
right?
exactly. That's
I'm like, dude, let's come up with something new. Like,
We
that's all they
can't.
got.
can't.
That's
We
all
don't-
they got.
I just say
Yeah.
Pittsburgh
It's Big
sucks,
Ben.
and I call it a day.
exactly.
Right?
Yeah, and then you just go shit in the toilet.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Yeah.
He just sees their performance of the 2019 season in the toilet. So
That almost, I'm over here like trying to. I'm like, wait a minute. Is this a sneak diss?
I was getting there.
I was at that Thursday night game, and we were
yeah,
standing
he missed
there.
bowling for that.
Yeah, I missed it. Yeah, for
Who
sure.
did we play?
There's Steelers, the Myles Garrett
that
game,
game.
and we were standing there, and we just met this Pittsburgh fan. We were just standing there talking to him the whole time. We were down on where you first walk in. He was a cool dude and everything, and I just remember when that whole thing happened and Myles Garrett popped Mason with the helmet. I just looked at the dude. I'm like, are we supposed to fight now or what? I'm not sure.
Are we supposed to fight now?
There was just a tension in that arena that I've never felt anywhere else before. Because there's a lot of Pittsburgh fans there.
He dented his head in.
Yeah.
Well, they're only 2 hours. It's only a 2 hour drive.
Yep.
So
And
I
they're
think
only
that-
right down the street around the corner next door from you.
Right.
Somebody else is calling it.
He gets
This
We
girl got
got
bumped
fans.
until 9, but
We got fans.
caller, how's it going?
It's going good. I don't know about all that Steeler talk, but it's going good.
Right? This is my favorite caller so far.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Right.
Kevin.
Why, Kareem is a Steelers fan.
Huh?
He's a Steelers fan.
Oh, yuck.
Yeah.
You're a
Well,
Steelers fan?
Nation. But what I called in for is, man, these new outfits. Y'all had mentioned something about the outfits a little bit earlier.
with the Falcons,
Outfits.
that's the same thing.
You mean the mean machine?
Uniforms, same difference. The uniforms of the NFL, to me, it just seemed like these teams is like thirsty to do something new. Like, I didn't understand it. At first, I was like, Tampa Bay stunk. And then ATL, Atlanta won up them. So it's just like,
We talked about it on the walk from the
Yeah.
store.
Yeah,
in
look at
Austin.
that.
The
Mean
ATL, the ATL. I mean that new jersey. A, they look like the Mean Machine colors, and B, they're trying to copy the Hawks. I think just having the ATL above the number like that. You know,
like
show some
that's
originality.
When's Kevin Nash and Goldberg and all them guys that were in the longest yard get to play defense against Atlanta? That's what I want to know. Who's gonna give Kevin Nash the
Kevin
estrogen?
Nash was on the guards team.
Who's gonna give him the estrogen? The great Khali on the line for the fucking Atlanta Falcons. Jesus Christ.
And just for me, it's like you got Tom Brady. Tom Brady. And that's the bullshit you came out with?
You do know that them are the Super Bowl championship jerseys, correct?
Yeah, from what?
From Tampa Bay from
2002?
2000?
Yeah,
You do know that, right?
yeah. That's
I wouldn't give a fuck if Jesus bringing down himself and they won the Super Bowl. In it. Okay?
Kareem, right? That's your name?
Yes.
Yes.
He's my new
I know.
favorite guy.
oh my
And I
god.
mean, like, I know, like, they better than the peach things that they had because it was god awful. But damn.
You mean the
And then you bring them
creamsicle
back?
ones?
I can't stand the
Oh, man,
creamsicle.
the
I was a
creamsicles.
fan of the creamsicle ones.
The creamsicles was horrible.
Man, we're out here talking about uniforms, just like the Browns talking playoffs.
Playoffs? You talking playoffs?
Right. And Atlanta, what the hell did you get new uniforms for? Todd Gurley?
Well, yeah,
I
they.
mean, like,
Yeah, you
Oh,
saw the
man.
movie The Longest Yard before, right?
right.
Remember
yeah.
Chris Berman when he was calling that game and he was saying, "Look at that maggot go." That's Todd Gurley now.
Wow.
Wow. You on that one?
Like,
Thanks for calling in,
see
man.
What y'all thought of that, or did y'all like the outfits? Was I tripping?
No,
They
not at
suck.
all.
No. Razor sharp. Don't bother buying a jersey. Don't even bother.
Y'all have a good one,
You
gentlemen.
too, man. Thanks for
Thank you,
calling in.
Kareem. Take care.
Yeah.
But
That's funny.
one more thing before we end up going to break here one last time, and then we end up having Ellie call in talking about the NFL and some Steelers news as well. We're going back to that. Yeah, we had a Browns guy last week. You
I'm
shut
coming
up.
for you,
Oh, yeah,
Elliot.
we
I
did
got
have a
some
Browns
hard-hitting
guy.
questions.
But then
really.
also, the Browns are also in the possibility of getting Jadeveon Clowney, as if they need another defensive lineman.
They do.
Yeah.
But his cost
Vernon's
is
garbage.
$17 million.
Hey, they got the money to do
17 million.
it. They got the money to do it.
They do,
They
but
do.
nobody else is paying him, and the Browns are the only ones showing
Why
interest.
not?
There
Why
has
not?
to be a problem there, man.
There's no problem there. The
only
fact
thing
is,
is that's
it's
kind of a red
The
flag.
fact is, it's a $17 million contract for a defensive player, and
For a
there's
guy
nobody else in the NFL that has the money to spend, but the Browns do.
Right,
For a
but-
guy
but-
who's
but-
never
but-
had-
satisfied.
For a guy who's never had more than 10 sacks in a season,
Right.
and you're a first-round draft pick, you won $17 million.
Right.
If I'm him, I'm taking an $8 to $10 million contract for 1 year and proving myself, and
Yeah.
I'm going to get 12 sacks.
Right. Yeah. I mean,
That's what I'm doing.
Not that I believe we should ever partner with Pittsburgh people, but they're right.
Yeah,
Like,
no,
there's
that's-
something. You know, I mean, like something's not right there.
Just like if I'm Cam
Maybe
Newton or
that's why they
Jameis
win.
Winston, I'm taking a smaller contract to be a backup for a year and see what my options are for next year.
I mean, shit, look at
could you
Mike
s-
Napoli
could
with
you
the
s-
Indians.
yeah, that's
Could
a
you
good.
see
That's a
the,
good example.
yeah.
That's a good example.
Could you see the Browns possibly making a deal where they possibly send maybe a first-round pick from next year for a J.J. Watt?
No.
I mean, the Texans are selling everything.
If Watt's going anywhere, he's going to Pittsburgh.
He's going to Pittsburgh.
Because his
brother.
whole entire
Brother.
family is
He's going to Pittsburgh. He's not coming to Cleveland, and no matter
Boo.
what they offer him. But no,
Well, I mean, if it's a trade, it's a trade.
but you're right.
because-
They're having a fire sale
You know,
right now,
Yeah,
and everything is
if
up.
Clowney signs with the Browns tomorrow, and I'm Kevin Colbert, I'm calling Texas or Houston tomorrow. I'll give you my second and third round this year, and my second and third round next year. I want J.J. Watt. You match them defensively.
yeah.
Honestly, I could see that, though, too, because Pittsburgh's the type of team, too, that you don't end up drafting this. Like, Minka Fitzpatrick is not drafted. That was a trade, and you gave up a first-rounder for it.
And it worked out great.
Exactly. And at first, that was kind of hesitant, and you were like, oh, shit, you need a QB. Well, you don't need a QB when you have a cornerback that's a Pro Bowler that should be a Pro Bowler for the next 5 years. But, Keith, why don't you read off one of the sponsors as we end up going into our last break of
Which
the
one?
night?
Which one am I reading?
Yes, read. See, read them. Just
one am
don't
I
read.
Pick one. No lube.
You could read Baker Bands.
Where's that at?
Second
Baker
page.
Bands? Oh, okay.
Rookie.
What's up, John
Right.
Booter? He's watching. You guys need any car repairs? Make sure you guys go check them out. Middle Ridge Car Clinic.
Nice. So BakerBands.com. Each band originates in Cleveland, Ohio, and is 100% American-made. Every Baker band is hand-cut and hand-sewn, making each band a custom piece of art. We're passionate
Like
about our
ASMR.
vision, our cause, and being the best at what we do. We take great pride in knowing that our brand is committed to serving a greater purpose and giving it back to those in need. BakerBands.com.
We'll be back after this on the We Like Sportz Podcast on Redland Radio. And we are back on the We Like Sportz Podcast for one final segment before I end up having our guest Ellie Finnerty call in and talking some Steelers. Just want to mention the fact about Mike Valen saying that what do Pittsburgh fans do after they win the Super Bowl? They turn off the PlayStation. Mike, my friend, though, you do realize the Steelers won Super Bowl 45 and 48. I am 23, almost 24, and I saw 2 Super Bowls in my lifetime. Yet, if you're a Browns fan, you probably have not seen one yet.
We definitely haven't, but we have the most championships of any football team in the world.
Let's
doesn't
stop.
count.
Let's
does
stop.
count.
No,
To me,
It was in the
doesn't.
past.
No,
As
no.
a Browns fan, to me, that does not count.
Correct.
And
Correct.
I
And
love
that's
my
coming
Browns.
from a
That
Browns
does
fan.
not count.
No, that counts
Correct.
absolutely.
It's not a
So
Lombardi.
you're telling me a championship and a Super Bowl is the same thing?
Yeah.
No, it's not. 'Cause
Is the
two
World
different-
Series and a championship the same thing?
No.
Yeah, dude. What? Are you
No.
telling? Okay,
So they
wait.
just changed the name to MLB championships from here on out.
Hold
Does
on.
all the other
Hold
World
on a
Series
second.
not count anymore?
Hold on a second, Austin.
say they add 4 teams or add 8 teams and make the league bigger, so
Right.
it's a different league,
Okay.
and they start calling it championships. Are we just going to discredit World Series?
No,
Hold on.
of
hold
course
on.
not.
Hold on one second. When the Browns won their championships,
Oh, don't
What-
air quote that.
when they won their championships, what was the league called?
Football.
American
AFL.
Football League.
It was
It's
the
not the same league, correct?
AFL,
They,
NFL.
they gave
Yeah,
it
wait a
3
minute.
letters.
Yes or no?
They were the best team, though.
Right.
Keyword was, but is it the same league?
Yeah, I mean,
No,
I
it's
guess
not.
I guess no, not technically, but I mean,
All right.
come on. Catch you on some technicalities. I was a radio host on the internet, and I went to I went to FM radio. Was I no longer a radio host when I was on internet anymore? Just because it changed to FM instead of internet doesn't make any sense.
All right, Ellie,
course
we're
it
having
did.
a debate here amongst 2 Steelers fans, now a third, and 3 Browns fans. It's evening the odds.
Okay.
As far as the Super Bowl and the championship type championships that the Browns won, do you consider, hopefully with an unbiased opinion, because I know that that's
just
going to be the
thinking about
excuse
that.
that we hear
Right.
from you guys,
Absolutely.
but is a championship considered a Super Bowl win?
Where'd you get the? Why are you hoarding toilet paper?
Oh, that's a really good question. You mean before the Super Bowl was a thing?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, back in like 1962 when the AFL was around, not the NFL.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. Oh, no, I don't.
Oh my gosh. So so let me ask you a question then. Is Babe Ruth not a good hitter? Is he not the great Bambino for being the best baseball hitter ever?
You're talking the same thing. He was in Major League Baseball. AFL and NFL's 2 different things.
It's not like they were playing against 12-year-olds. They were still playing against.
There were
people
16.
They didn't even have helmets on, man. They were using pig balls.
AFL and NFL is two different leagues.
Because you say it is because you put an NFL there because you use the letters instead of the actual full-fledged words. That's the only reason you're saying that.
Well, to be fair, though, when it comes down to championships and Super Bowls, one's in Roman numerals, the other ones are just championships. It's not
That's
championship
true.
LVII.
That's true.
Absolutely right.
I guess I can
that
speak
makes-
with a level head here and just
that
calm
makes a
everybody
difference.
down.
That makes it.
No, I've already
But-
know that. Yeah.
Ellie, as far as being a Steelers fan, though,
Yeah.
I know we ended up getting a little bit distracted, but please give your background as to how you became a Steelers fan.
She got drunk one night.
Oh,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
This is like it's a really boring story, but obviously I'm from the UK, so I wasn't like born into being a Steelers fan. My dad is a Cowboys fan, and I was like, this is not my team. I don't know who these people are, but they're not my people. And so I just waited around for a few years to like actually learn the sport, and then they kind of found me. I think I was watching when they started to become more popular on British TV. I was kind of like mesmerized by them. So I was like, okay, I have to do research on this team. Like, I like them. I like their style. So that's what I did. I made sure I knew as much as I could. Not that anybody in the UK was going to test me because nobody watched it. But, and then I kind of like came out to my dad and I was like, listen, Troy Aikman is a great guy. Tony Romo is a great guy. He's just not my guy. So he was honestly just happy that one of his 3 daughters was watching sport. So he was supportive.
Awesome.
That's actually an awesome story about it. It's not like Payton over here. Payton's like, oh yeah, my uncle's third cousin is from a suburb of Pittsburgh. That's why I'm a fan.
Right.
My
Yeah, I
stepdad.
can't make that
No, wait a
clear.
minute though. Is it still Pittsburgh, even though it's not Pittsburgh right in the front name? Is like even though it's a suburb, does it still count as a Pittsburgh
does.
place?
It
Oh,
does.
okay, that does.
Because it's in Pennsylvania, right?
Because it's in PA. I gotcha.
Oh my gosh. Well, Ellie, as far as the QB, I guess, so to speak, controversy for the Steelers, there's a lot of talk about what might possibly be a backup for Ben Roethlisberger. Bill Cowher ended up suggesting that he thinks that Jameis Winston would be a great fit for the Steelers. What are your thoughts on that, or would you rather prefer somebody like Cam Newton?
Between the two, I would lean towards Cam Newton. I think a healthy Cam Newton would be better suited to the Steelers. I don't hate Jameis Winston. I just think that this is me being like as unbiased as possible. We already have a pretty prolific interception issue without having someone who's 30 for 30. Ben has had his fair share of issues with interceptions, and then our backups, all 18 of them, have all had their issues too. So honestly, like, as much as I love Jameis Winston, he has, in my opinion, arguably two of the best wide receiver weapons at his disposal, and he was still struggling to make connections. We have great wide receivers with some occasionally butterfingers, and I think that we could end up with similar issues if he came to Pittsburgh. I just don't see it being a good fit for him in Pittsburgh. Plus, I think he's too expensive for us.
Yeah, that could be pretty true. When you end up looking at it that way, I mean, like you mentioned, a 30 for 30 type quarterback, and we're not talking about the 4-letter network special.
He
Now,
passed
is that still a thing because the 4 letters are still there? Is that
Oh my God.
Keith is not getting off this.
He can't.
Oh my God.
Hey, he was 30. He had 33 touchdowns and 5,000 yards. That's a big accomplishment.
Yeah, it is.
It's
I mean,
huge.
There's only 6 quarterbacks in NFL history just thrown for 5,000 yards, and Jameis Winston's one of them. If you can get him for $8 million or $7 million to sit for 1 year behind Ben and learn, yeah, I'd take him in a heartbeat. I'd take him over Cam Newton. Cam Newton's injury prone, but that's just my opinion.
he'd be dangerous too if with what you just said, sitting behind, learning behind Ben.
Because of what's going on right now, Cam can't have any physicals, so that's a huge risk to take him on when he hasn't been cleared by any doctors. He can't be seen by any doctors right now. With him being as injury prone as he is, you have to be so sure that he was feeling 100%.
Yeah, makes sense.
And Cam hasn't played a full season since 2015.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
And another thing, too, when it ends up coming down to being a Pittsburgh Steelers fan as well, there was talk a while back, probably like a few months ago, about the possibility of Antonio Brown coming back to the Steelers. Mm-hmm. Obviously, there was talk about it. He's still trying to come back into the league. As a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, how would you feel if that happened, or what are your thoughts on that happening as well? And the whole entire situation as a whole with Antonio Brown, too, I guess.
It's not. I don't think it will happen. I don't think he'll ever come back to Pittsburgh. I don't think he wants to. And I don't think they want him back. If it was to happen, I don't know how you come back. I don't know how you do come back from something like that. That would be like saying, Hopkins going back to the Texans when there's clearly some bad blood there. Would that happen? No, probably not. And I feel the same way about Antonio Brown, but on a much larger scale. Plus, he has situations going on outside of football that him going to any team would mean that he would likely be on maybe the commissioner's exempt list, or he's definitely going through. I think he was just, I don't know if indicted, but has been given some other charges to do with some kind of assault charge on a moving truck driver or something.
Yep. Sounds about right for him.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
any team he goes to is going to be
I
collateral.
don't want him. Just if he wants to play again, by all means, go and play somewhere. If that's what you want to do and you can keep your head down and play football, he's an incredible football player, and I don't wish him ill or wish him to never play in the league again, but I don't want him to be my problem.
Yeah, good point.
Definitely. As we did mention, too, before we ended up having you call in our last segment, we ended up saying how the Browns could possibly end up signing the Seattle Seahawks defensive end, Jadeveon Clowney, for $17 million, how they have that possibility of that having that problem with a good problem with the money left over. With that idea, if the Browns end up signing Jadeveon Clowney, we ended up suggesting that they could end up making a trade for J.J. Watt due to the fact that all of his family is playing there right now.
Yeah.
But would that be something that you'd want for the Steelers, especially in a counter move if the Browns end up signing Jadeveon Clowney?
I mean, it would be really nice to complete the trio, but I'm pretty sure he's the problem with the Steelers, shoulda, woulda, coulda, we just don't have the money. So I don't know how we would be able to afford him, or how we'd be able to offer him a contract that would be worth his time. You know, he has a great contract in Houston. I can't remember exactly how much it is, but it's a lot from what I can remember. I want to say, no, I'm not actually sure, but it's an expensive contract, and we just don't have that cash. We don't have money like that. So as much as, the Browns taking Clowney would be like, oh, crap, here we go. Like, I can't see us making that kind of trade for J.J. Watt.
Makes sense.
Just seeing right now, too, with the Steelers, it's a very crowded quarterback room right now, too, with J.T. Barrett, Devlin Hodges, Paxton Lynch, Ben Roethlisberger, and Mason Rudolph. I guess going back to the fact of the question from earlier with the Cam Newton possibility at quarterback, do you see somebody like Devlin Hodges or Mason Rudolph remaining with the team, especially somebody like Mason Rudolph? I feel like Steelers fans would not want him to stick around after the whole entire debacle with the Browns' Myles Garrett.
Oh, yeah. I hate that subject.
It's my favorite one.
I bet it is. It makes me crazy. I hate that game so much. I'm the wrong person to ask because, and I've been very vocal about it, so people do know, but I like Mason Rudolph. I think that we saw some in the beginning, particularly before that Earl Thomas hit. You remember the one that knocked him out?
Yeah.
In our first bout with the Ravens. everyone loved him. You know, he was playing good. He was doing well, and people were like, I really feel like Steelers fans are very passionate to the point where if you're really good, we love you so much. You're amazing. If you put one foot wrong, we're grabbing pitchforks and we're coming for you. Like, how dare you exist? Like, it's very like one way or the other. Which I think is, that's not like a dig. Like, I think it's just a passionate thing. They're a passionate fan base. So, while, yeah, you're probably right that most people wouldn't want Mason in the quarterback room, I think that the smarter move would be to lose Devlin, to lose Duck.
Oh,
and
man.
I don't even know, did Paxton Lynch actually, I don't think did he play?
Paxton could still, like, he was more so a journeyman backup for the NFL teams. I mean, he did play in Denver. I think he started a little bit, but it's not anybody that I could see making it to the actual regular season as a backup.
Yeah.
But when you said that you could see Devlin Hodges no longer with the Steelers, our producer Dave had a very shocked look, and I feel like he wants to have some kind of input here because he's just huffing and puffing.
You mean to tell me you guys would want Mason Rudolph over Devlin Hodges? Mason freaking Rudolph. That guy is a bum.
It's only because he has half a head now.
And he is a Steelers fan who's saying that.
I was never high on him anyway. He's in the same category as Landry Jones.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
Jeez.
That's really mean.
You lost your starting job as a backup quarterback, the quarterback of the future, to a guy who was on a practice squad. You suck.
Well, put it bluntly next time, why don't you?
Wow, really goes to the jugular, dang. I would say, in terms of if we ended up with someone like Jameis Winston or Cam Newton, I would be surprised if they released Mason Rudolph over Duck.
I could see that, but I could also see them releasing both of them and maybe signing Duck back on the practice squad and using Paxton Lynch as their third-string quarterback. I could see that.
Something I definitely don't want to see, though, as a Steelers fan.
As a Browns fan, you guys are speaking Spanish to me.
Right?
It's all right. We'll catch you up with the lingo in a minute.
As soon as he inflates his head, we'll be able to get back.
I mean, I don't really know enough about Paxton Lynch to give an informed decision on him because he just doesn't have enough playtime for me that I know of to be able to accurately talk about him. I think the problem. I really like Duck, and that's not I'm not saying there's an issue with Duck, and I enjoyed having him on the team. I feel well, it doesn't even really what the vibe that I'm getting from what I've read online is that moving forward, Kevin has already decided that Mason is the future, at least for now, draft pending. He seems to be interested and more interested in keeping Mason than I've heard him talk about Duck. So maybe that's because he's a more polarizing figure given what happened in that game. But I feel like it's kind of a little bit of this is the card we've been dealt. So I would rather see Mason improve than pin my hopes on Duck.
So one more question before we end up letting you go and we end up wrapping up today's show. Obviously the Steelers ended up signing the former Colts tight end Eric Ebron.
Yeah.
Obviously that helps out in that department 100%. What are your thoughts before we end up letting you go on the signing of Eric Ebron for the Steelers, and how does he improve the team?
I was excited to see that signing. I thought it was a really good. I think he could be a really good match. He definitely seems really enthusiastic, which is what you want to see from a player. You want them to want to be on your team. Speaking from as a Steelers fan, we know what it's like when people don't want to be on your team. It's miserable. So I was excited about that. I know he didn't have was it last season he dropped a lot of what some people would consider easy catches. So I know he's had some wobbles, but I'd like to give him the benefit of the doubt. Considering that, I would even be interested in the idea of, and I've heard people talk about doing something similar to the Pats, where you have like 2 attacking tight ends and switching it up a little bit. I'd be interested in something like that. But it really just depends on if he can work on catching the ball, really.
Okay, awesome. Well, Ellie, thanks for calling in one more time. Before you end up heading out, and we end up heading out, why don't you give our fans your social media page and where they could find you?
Okay, you can just find me on Twitter, which is my name, which is @Ellie Finnerty, which is FINNERTY.
Okay, awesome. Ellie, thank you so much for calling in, and hopefully we could end up talking some more Steelers when this whole entire epidemic ends up going through, and hopefully we end up having a full NFL season as well.
I hope so.
Awesome. Stay safe.
Be safe.
Thank you very
so
much.
Bye.
Yep. Take care. Thank you.
I know that was very boring for you guys.
It wasn't boring until she made the comment about Hodges, and I just seen Dave just whoop. Just hold on.
You got pee on him from you.
Oh no.
No, that was fun. We like listening to
it was different.
Whatever that was.
It actually made sense than talking about, well, I think the Browns might do this. And, well, if you look at them last few years, I'm like, oh, this makes sense hearing another front office doing their thing.
Here's one thing I actually liked about that interview, too. It was a different kind of point of view. It wasn't a 100% like Homer fan. Like, I mean, at the end of the day,
she
like,
did her research to become a Steelers fan, and I respected that for sure.
Most
yeah,
definitely.
that's a cool thing I like. She told her dad that, oh, Dad, that's not my guy. She did her research. I like that. Cool story.
Like
that was,
and to be fair, like all of us here, like no matter what sport is your number one sport, at the end of the day, we're all homers one type of way, whether it's the Indians, the Cavs, or the Browns.
Right.
That's just the way it is. We're born in Cleveland. It's not like that kind of situation that we're from overseas and we have the option to actually pick. I mean, right now, if we're in with what we're going on right now with the London games, for example, I mean, you could be a Jaguars fan if you end up living in the UK because that's the amount of games that you end up having. I mean, they want that fan base out there to actually have a team at one point. So
somebody told me that you can't be a Steelers fan, a Indians fan, and a Cavs fan.
They could kiss my ass.
Were you
frowned upon?
Oh, I can't even do. I was
It's
going
frowned
to
upon.
put on your pants,
Listen,
but I'm like, no, that doesn't sound right.
So are you guys going to fault me for being a North Carolina basketball fan?
No.
I feel like basketball doesn't matter in that point of view. Like people don't look at college that way. Like you could be
like
a Kentucky
professional
fan.
sport.
You could be.
What about
NC
Michigan
State.
fans?
I mean, come on, guy.
It's very dumb of you, but it's because I'm an Ohio State fan.
I can't stand.
I'm not a
people
Michigan
who
fan.
are
Adam, my
Michigan
co-host
fans
on the
and
Scoop,
Steeler fans.
is a Michigan fan.
Oh, he's a Michigan fan?
Yeah, Adam is.
Oh.
I just don't understand how you could be a Pittsburgh Steelers fan and a Michigan fan. I've met.
I'm not a-
I know. I'm just saying. I met people like that, and it's dumbfounding. Like you're just anti-Cleveland,
And they live around the corner from you, down the street, across the road. Right.
They just want to see us suffer. That's all they care about.
Here's what I want to know,
They
though.
want to watch the world burn.
Everybody is right now, baby. But with that idea, though, of like the Michigan fan and like, when does it come a point? And I could understand that like they could have the same outlook as a Browns fan, like seeing losing over and over again.
Oh, yeah.
But I feel like with college football, it's different because unless if you're like, I could see the sway change from year to year depending on what players are on your team. Whether it's somebody you know, a niece, a nephew, little brother, little sister, whatever, going to that college, I could understand you being supportive of that team. But when you end up having Michigan losing in the last 3,000 some days in football, but like hearing that number, I mean the last 3,000 days against Ohio State, that was probably the last time they won. Back when Troy Smith was still quarterback in 2006.
Wow.
It's outrageous.
Yeah.
But like you could change your fandom. That's allowed. You could do the same thing as a Browns fan too, but when First Energy Stadium is right down the street, it's a little bit more difficult.
Sure. Yeah, I agree with that.
Like,
I mean, I don't know how he's a Michigan. Have you ever approached him and asked him what sickness he has?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't asked him.
Pee on my forehead sickness.
I mean, he's a good dude. He just likes Michigan. Nothing wrong with that.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot wrong with that. But
He's also his favorite favorite team is the Carolina Panthers.
That's weird.
Well, guys,
that's a weird stretch.
It's about that time that we end up wrapping it up. Again, plug in the social media. You could catch us back here live on Redline Radio LLC, 7:30 to 9:30 EST. That's Eastern Standard Time.
Now, was it EST before it was daylight saving time, or was it?
And it
become EST?
Let me get to the social media so people could find your political show.
Now, was it?
That wasn't actually your political show?
I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to go.
I know exactly where he's going.
Oh, man.
Was it my political show before the bitch took it, or?
Hey, we can all just blame Carol Baskin.
That's right. That bitch Carol Baskins. But again, social media, if you guys want more content like this, check out our YouTube page, which is We Like Sportz Podcast on YouTube. Subscribe. We're giving away a free T-shirt when you subscribe, when you have proof of it. Just let us know. Send us that DM on YouTube or whatever. I'm still new to the YouTube thing. But we're going to give out a free T-shirt for subscribing. We're going to do a raffle, obviously. We're not just giving out T-shirts. Twitter and Instagram is We Like Sportz PC. Our Facebook page is We Like Sportz Podcast. Facebook group as well is We Like Sportz Podcast Group. And I think that's about it. You could catch us again next week, last week, the following week. As long as the epidemic is still going on, we'll still be hitting those airwaves. Guys, I guess for Riggs, Keith, Austin, and Payton, this is Payton. I'll see you guys next week, and we will enjoy the show and stay safe out there.
And stay sane.
Peace out.